Hey there, have you ever noticed that when you focus on the health risks of smoking when you're trying to stop smoking, it actually kind of makes you want to smoke more? My name is Rita Black. I am a clinical hypnotherapist, a smoking cessation specialist, and I am also a former pack and a half a day smoker. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you why focusing on the health risks of smoking actually keeps you smoking. And I'm also going to give you a couple of other things that are going to be much more productive for you to focus on when you really want and when you want to get yourself ready to stop smoking. So go ahead and grab my free Slimming Stop Smoking Secrets, which are all about how to not gain weight when you stop smoking. There's just a free PDF that you can grab there because I know gals and guys are concerned with gaining weight when they stop smoking. And let's go get into why you should stay away from focusing on the health risks and what you should be focusing on instead. Let's go. Hey there, welcome. Come on in and let's have a smoke break. I remember being in Europe in my 20s and smoking a pack and a half of cigarettes a day. And I remember going into, one of those corner stores in, a European city. It must have been maybe Paris. I was backpacking around, scrounging around like you do in your early 20s. And I remember going in and buying a pack of cigarettes, and it was the first time I ever saw those European cigarettes that had the pictures of the black lungs and the really just the gory pictures that were meant to, and it said smoking kills on the package itself. And I remember staring at it for a moment and going, oh wow, that's really gross, and wow, smoking's really bad for you. And then all of a sudden just having this incredible urge to want to smoke a cigarette, ripping open the package and digging in and smoking that cigarette. So, and I know from the thousands of clients as I have worked with, telling me their stories about watching the woman that, smokes through her throat, or having their friends and relatives tell them, they've got to stop smoking and it's so bad for them, and it actually makes them want to smoke more. So I wanted to get into that a little bit about why that happens and why it really is counterproductive for you to focus on your health just primarily. I'm not saying that you shouldn't focus on your health. Of course, your health is very important, but I'm just going to explain to you how the mind works around this so that there are some other things that you could focus on that are going to be far more productive. So why do the risks of smoking make me want to smoke more? Okay, well, the first thing is that the way the mind is set up is that 12% of our mind is the part of our mind that knows that smoking is bad for us. It's the critical, analytical, conscious part of the mind. The other 88% is just really invested in the habit of smoking. That's the part of the mind that, expects the 20 cigarettes a day that you might be smoking, or the 10 cigarettes, or the 40 cigarettes, however many cigarettes that you might smoke. That part of the brain expects those many cigarettes. It has beliefs like smoking relaxes me, or it's fun socially. And then there's just the reptilian part of the brain that just really feels like it needs you to smoke in order to survive, right? So you have this 12% of the mind against this 88% of the mind, and we have this critical filter in between where the two don't really speak to each other very much. And any input that's coming in from relatives, friends, concerned people, it's really only making a 12% impact. So that's probably why you've noticed when your spouse or your children or your parents are please stop smoking, it's so bad for you, we don't want you to die, that you're sitting there going, and it kind of makes you want to go out and smoke a cigarette. This is why. So that is one of the reasons. Now, another reason is stress. That's right. When we think about the effects of smoking, or when we're feeling a heaviness in our lungs or a tickle in our throat, and we think, oh my gosh, maybe I have cancer, or maybe this is the cigarette that's really going to do it to me, it stresses us out. Now, the stress And emotions are part of our subconscious mind as well. And in our limbic system, or the limbic part of our brain, our emotions, when we have a bump up in an experience like stress or an emotion, we kick into that fight or flight response, and that part of the brain wants to numb out. And guess what we reach for when we want to numb out? That's right, a cigarette. So that's another reason why focusing on the health risks works against us. Now, the third one is probably the most fascinating and sort of dark reason, and that is that I have clients who come to me, unfortunately, who they already have cancer, right? Like they've just found out that they've had cancer, or I've had clients who've come to me literally on those carts that I have to wheel them into my office, or they come in they ride those little cars in with the oxygen tank, and literally they'll sit there and be coughing, talking and coughing at the same time, and they're still smoking over a pack of cigarettes a day. And they will say to me, the person who has cancer, the person who can barely speak and wheeze out a sentence, will say, "Why am I still smoking? Like, I am smoking more since my diagnosis. Why is that? Am I crazy? What is wrong with me?" So here's the main reason why you could get a diagnosis or something and still keep smoking. It's not your fault. There's nothing wrong with you per se. It's just that the part of your mind that smokes is two things. It is a genetic propensity for nicotine, and it is just your wiring. And when these two come together, it becomes a mechanism. And at this point in your smoking, this mechanism has a life of its own. It's almost like you're the host body for this mechanism. So this mechanism does not care about you at all. This mechanism does not care about your health. This mechanism doesn't care about your future. This mechanism doesn't care about your children or your parents or any of your loved ones who are concerned for you. This mechanism doesn't care about how you feel about yourself, how expensive smoking is, the smell. It is just like, "Oh no, you are my slave. Just get out there and smoke that next cigarette." Yeah, it really just doesn't care about you. And so that is why the third one, it's rather dark, but if you look at it from that perspective, I'm hoping that you can see that the part of your brain that wants you to smoke is really not there for you, And so these are some things, and here's the other thing with why focusing on health, because obviously I see, like I said, hundreds, thousands of people. So I've worked with a lot of smokers. I've heard a lot of stories, one story, or a lot of stories are, like, I was sick, I stopped smoking, I got better, I went back to smoking. Exactly. Because, smoking makes us feel bad. When we stop smoking, guess what? We feel better. And then the fear is gone, the pain is gone. And that part of our brain that smokes is like, okay, coast is clear, get out there and smoke. And once we smoke one, it hooks us back in, and then it all tumbles down, and we are back to smoking what we were smoking before. Okay, so here's the thing: getting back to that mechanism that is, causing you to smoke. What you want to focus on instead, because your health is ephemeral. This idea of you're dying when you're 70, 80 years old from smoking-related cancer and you're in your 30s, it's a little too far away to really have a visceral impact for you on a day-to-day basis. But something that does have an impact on you on a day-to-day basis is that you are the slave of your smoking mechanism. This mechanism owns you. Whether you're smoking 2 a day or 12 a day or 22 a day or 52 a day, smoking, the moment you begin smoking, you start giving your power away to cigarettes. You start saying, oh, I need this to be cool. Then I need this to drive a car. And then I need this to socialize. And then I need this to manage my stress. And then I need this to, be happy. And then I need it to be sad. And I need it to process my emotions. And we systematically give our personal power over to this idea that we need a cigarette. And so now we are the slave of this thing that is bigger than us. It's like a relationship that, in the beginning it's all romantic and lovely and fun. But then the person you're in a relationship starts to oppress you. Starts to say, you can't live without me. You can't leave because I own you. You need me. And this relationship is a relationship you now need to exit. You need to get out of. It's not going to be romantic again. I have very fond romantic memories of smoking, but those memories are in my past, just like a lot of fun romantic things are in my past. And I have a powerful present where I can be in power because I've taken my power from cigarettes, and you can too. So focus on ending your relationship with that smoking mechanism so that you can be the owner of your life and not cigarettes. The other thing is your freedom. On a day-to-day basis, smoking imprisons us. You might not see it like that completely, but this mechanism is very oppressive. And when you are stepping into that non-smoking space and you don't have to worry anymore about hiding the smell or looking for a place where nobody's going to see you, or those bad feelings that you feel about yourself when you see yourself out there smoking and saying, why are we still smoking? Why are we doing this? Worrying about if your children or if your spouse is going to smell it on you, worrying about if you have your pack, or thinking through your day, the schedule, your smoking schedule, in order to accommodate that. That is a daily, visceral experience that you're being oppressed by cigarettes. So can you see that focusing on your freedom and your power, taking back your power and having freedom, are a much more powerful and opening way to when you go to become a non-smoker? It's like, yes, I want that power. Yes, I want my freedom. That opens you up and gets you excited, and it engages your brain on a much higher level way than just worrying about like, oh, they're going to make me sick and I really shouldn't do that anymore. So I know you can become a non-smoker. And when your focus is in the right place and when you use your brain effectively to become a non-smoker, you can become a non-smoker easily, effortlessly, and permanently. I hope you have found this helpful. I hope you have an amazing day. And I look forward to having some more smoke breaks with you in the future. Or if you decide to become a non-smoker, awesome. We won't have any more smoke breaks anymore. But I look forward to helping you. Have a great day.